What up? This is Lloyd Maitreya with the Super Longevity Institute. Today's episode is called Race, Resveratrol, Superfoods. Race, Resveratrol, Superfoods. The first book I'm going to talk about today is called Everyone is African. Everyone is African. How Science Explodes the Myth of Race by Daniel J. Fairbanks. I'm going to read some of the back. I love this book. I bought this a few years ago, of course. It's been on my shelf for a few years. Let's go in the back and see what other people are saying about this. Few are aware that the best ammunition against racism comes from modern evolutionary biology and genetics. And this gap in the public understanding of science needs to be closed. Daniel J. Fairbanks' small but complete book provides clear explanations of the science behind human variation. I hope it's widely read. Eugene Scott, Chair of the Advisory Council, National Center for Science Education, author of Evolution versus Creationism, an introduction. Somebody else, Stephen M. Rich, professor of microbiology, University of Massachusetts, said, "This is an important book that brings forward an argument that is clear and cogent as it is timely. Fairbanks reminds us that Homo sapiens is a single species whose populations share biological histories, provide a unifying context of our varied and disparate social narratives. Stressing the differences amongst us is not only divisive, it's scientifically unjustified." Hagen D. Claus, assistant professor in anthropology at George Mason University, says, It's in a masterful synthesis of biological, anthropological, and evolutionary evidence. This book presents one of the most eloquent, insightful, compelling arguments against the existence of biological race. Fairbanks demonstrates that modern notions that seek to justify race and racism aren't just flawed, they're scientifically baseless. This book uncovers true richness of human variation and the unfolding of the human story of the last 150 years in a world that today seems slipping towards greater divisiveness and conflict. Everyone is African, unites us in our common ancestry and shared history, providing ways to grapple with the social inventions of race that challenge our society to its core. This book should be required reading for everybody. I agree. The idea of race is a social construct. That's why I just picked the culture of hip hop. I am hip hop. Hip hop is a human culture. Okay? Everyone is African. How Science Explodes the Myth of Race. Daniel J. Fairbanks. Go get that. Put that on your shelf. Put this on your shelf. Go get this now. Okay? With all this stuff that's going on, I just thought that these books would be appropriate because, this country, the anti-intellectualism that I'm seeing, I'm not feeling, and the anti-science stuff, I'm not. It's going to push us back to the dark ages. Okay. Race, racism, and science. Social impact and interaction. John P. Jackson Jr., Nadine M. Weidman. Since the 18th century, when the natural historians created the idea of distinct racial categories, scientific findings on race have been a double-edged sword. For some, anti-racist science holds the promise of one day providing indisputable evidence to help eradicate racism. On the other hand, science has been enlisted to promote racist belief, ranging from justification of slavery in the 18th century to the infamous 20th century. 20th century book, The Bell Curve, whose authors argued that the racial differences in intelligence resulted in lower test scores for African Americans. Can you believe that? This well-organized, readable textbook takes the reader through a chronological account of why racial categories were created and how the study of race evolved in the multiple academic disciplines, including genetics, psychology, sociology, and anthropology. In a In an essay at the conclusion of each of the book's 7 sections, the author recommends primary texts that will further the reader's understanding of each topic, heavily illustrated and enlivened with sidebar biographies. This text is ideal for classroom use. Race, Racism, and Science, Social Impact and Interaction. Go get that. Every hip hopper should be able to get that. Cool, man. Cool. Moving right along. I got another book. Of course, it's called Resveratrol. Now, resveratrol is a powerful antioxidant. That's the healthy part of it's in red wine. It's the healthy part, the active ingredient in red wine that helps us live longer. Resveratrol, unleashing the benefits of red wine, boosts cardiovascular health, protects against cancer, promotes weight loss, defends against aging. Beth Gessler. Resveratrol. Researchers may have at last discovered what could very well be the modern day fountain of youth. Resveratrol, an antioxidant found in red wine, grape juice, and several other foods. Resveratrol has been shown to mimic the healthful effects of calorie restriction, the only proven method for extending life. In Resveratrol, unleashing the benefits of red wine, Beth Gessler explained the latest research showing that resveratrol can also prevent or delay the onset of cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, neurological brain disorders, and viral infections. In this book, you'll learn how to get the most resveratrol from the wine you drink, which foods are the richest source of resveratrol, how to choose the best supplement, how to determine optimal dosage levels, what the relationship is between resveratrol and longevity. Resveratrol, unleashing the benefits of red wine. Woo! Get that. The Longevity Factor by Joseph Maroon. Great book. Joseph Maroon, I think, is the doctor for the Philadelphia Eagles. His brother was a wine grower in Napa, Maroon Wines. He's the distributor for a wine, a Shiraz, that's enhanced, a red wine that's enhanced, a Shiraz that's enhanced with extra resveratrol. It was developed by a gentleman in Australia, grown in Australia, named Philip Norrie, Dr. Philip Norrie, who's a cardiologist, who wrote his thesis on the history of wine as medicine. And that's how I got familiar with resveratrol and red wine. You could actually go to philipnorrie.com. He's an Australian, and you can actually read his thesis on the history of red wine as medicine. Now, back to this book, The Longevity Factor, How Resveratrol and Red Wine Activate Genes for Longer and Healthier Life by Joseph Maroon. Wow. Let's see what Sanjay Gupta said, neurosurgeon and medical correspondent at CNN. If you're ready to start living and stop dying, the longevity factor is for you. Dr. Joseph Maroon has applied the same intelligence and diligence that propelled him to the top of the neurosurgical specialty into writing this book, leaving no stone unturned. He has created a guidebook for longevity and it's achievable. Wow. Yeah. How can you protect yourself against cancer and heart and Alzheimer's disease? Increase your endurance, obtain balance of life? Read this book. Longevity Factor is the best, clearest summary of the anti-aging disease prevention properties of resveratrol and red wine. Robert M. Goldman, Chairman, World Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, The Longevity Factor. I like this book. Had it for years. Last but not least, one of my favorite books, like The 150 Healthiest Foods on Earth by John Bowden, PhD, nutritionist. Wow. This is a great book. It's really illustrated really well. They got description on watermelon, raspberries, pineapples, honeydew, dates. Any food you could think of is in here. Let me read the back real quick. In this unique nutrition reference guide, acclaimed nutritionist Johnny Bowden debunks old school food myths, saves the reputations of foods long suffering from bad PR, provides you with just the facts so you can make good health conscious decisions about which foods you and your family should eat. You'll also learn the latest research findings and recommendations from around the world. Amazing discoveries about the health benefits of nutrient-packed foods you love since you were a kid, and some you never tried. Blueberries actually help neurons in your brain communicate with one another more effectively, slowing memory loss, making the ultimate memory food. I eat blueberries every day, by the way. Peanuts are surprisingly high in antioxidants, ranked in the same class as powerhouse like strawberries and blackberries. Shout outs to George Washington Carver. Recent studies have revealed that in addition to relieving muscle and joint stiffness and menstrual discomfort, cinnamon may reduce blood sugar and bad cholesterol. No food provides everything, but real food, whole food with minimal processing, contains a virtual pharmacy of nutrients, phytochemicals, enzymes, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and inflammatories and helpful fats, all of which can help you alive, thriving in your 10th decade. Learn how easy it is to find real food and discover what a dozen nutrition experts say are their top 10 healthiest foods on earth. Wow. 150 Healthiest Foods on Earth. Johnny Bowden, PhD. Can you see that? No, you can't see it. It's too bright. Wow. I love this book, by the way. I thought it was appropriate to recommend a couple of books on race because of all of this, all the division and that's going on, and all the racism that's going on in this country right now. This is the end of this episode. Again, I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day. It's pretty hot outside. Try to drink plenty of liquids. Mask up when you go outside because the coronavirus is still around, and we're expecting a second wave. So prepare. Try to stock up on all the healthy stuff you can get. Don't wait till the last minute. Like, comment, share, and push the notification button. It helps the channel to grow. One love. Super single I salute.